national.
Lou just said, you get an extra segment out of me. Lou, it's the top of the hour. I just went to break 3 minutes early there. So it's not that much big of a segment. Look at Lou trying to renegotiate his contract right before we go on air right there. I'll do an extra segment.
Well, if I was going to do it, it'd be now because football season's coming up.
That is true.
And I'm starting to get prepared.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's no doubt about it. But Lou's here, of course, as he's getting situated here on the Thursday. Second hour main event is up. And again, I just wanted at the top of the hour here, because we do these in segments for everybody. I just wanted to reiterate, Kobe, I appreciate everything he's done here. He's been a gem to be around here. Sorry we're losing him, but he's kind of like one of my children in terms of that, where we got him through it, did a great job here, and now go back home and explore his life. And I'm going to fight his mom later to be his parent. Me and her are going to have a conversation. Just kidding. But it's Thursday, Lou, and Lou's in the house right now.
I was going to say, well, way to start out in second place, challenging a guy's mom.
Yeah, and then you're up next.
You're never going to win that fight.
Fight that battle right here and everything.
Yeah.
I know somebody's going to be like, oh, I bet you would, Steve. Whatever, guys. It was a joke. Settle down out there. Of course, on Thursdays, Lou joins us. Uncle Lou, you can find him on Gamblou on X, Gamblou.com, Visa Networks. He does shows on there as a contributor. Of course, does other shows throughout time, especially on the big UFC fights. Those of you that follow him knows what he does. First of all, Lou, how you doing today?
Doing great. Happy to be here Thursday. But as much as I am a positive, constant proponent of desert living, these weeks right now, in the next 6 weeks or maybe 7 or whatever, it gets humid and stormy, and yeah, it isn't 115 anymore. It's only 106, but there's 38% humidity, and people in the Midwest laugh. 38%. Well, when you're used to none and you throw 38% at you, it's the only gap that I have to kind of work my way through conscientiously. That said, there's plenty of excuse and reason for me to be indoors, because I'm not only preparing for football, I'm trying to catch an hour or two of the Saratoga horse race.
I saw your tweet the other day. That's the first thing I wanted to talk to you about. We'll get to that coming up here. Lou's a big Saratoga racing fan there and follows them and all of that. But first, Lou, let's not forget, this week we have more UFC fun. Last week was in Oklahoma as well. And this week we got coming up Dubai this week, someplace over there in the Middle East.
Abu Dhabi this
week coming up. So we're coming up here, and Lou, introduce yourself, because we get a lot of people from that area of the world that tune into our show and listen to the podcast and watch your segment here of the show, with it being over there in Abu Dhabi. So tell everybody where they can find you, where they can pay attention to you, and all of that fun stuff.
Well, first of all, Steve, the fact that it isn't me, I don't think, that's bringing this chain of people from across the globe. I think it's fighting. I think there's fight fans everywhere.
Yes, absolutely.
The fact that I happen to have a platform that you give me to be able to talk about it is enough for me. However, the secondary is, if in fact these people, you get ratings and you can track that stuff. I keep thinking, boy, I want to see that. I always forget to ask, and I don't really need to see it for you to tell me it's enough. I'm flattered by that, and it tells me that there are other really focused fight fans in the world that are betting, they're gambling on the fights. They love to do it, and they want another opinion. So Thank you for all of that. I am a sports handicapper. That back in the day, it was football, because I played football. So I started with that. Always loved the fights. From 6th grade, I was following Ali. So all of that twined together with my upbringing in the Midwest. And so now that everything over the last decade has become legit and legal, I've now converted myself into a sports handicapper with a presence based on my webpage, Gamblou.com. There you can find out everything about me. It's a simple webpage, but the band along the top tells you who I am. You can research what others in my industry say about me. You can see the sports I work, but on the far right of the screen, you'll see the San Xavier mission right now. Riley's highlighting that. And that is the oldest mission in the United States. It's south of us a couple hours, just north of the border. It was erected in the late 1600s. They do really, really good work there. We offer a link for those interested in checking the mission out. We are regular contributors to the mission and invite you to also. Steve gives me that infomercial each week to talk about the mission, and it's greatly appreciated.
Oh, absolutely. You know, they do schooling down there, you know, and everything. It's an active church as well. You go down there, like we stopped coming back from our New Mexico trip around the Sun Bowl there. And I mean, you know, they were doing right in the middle of a service. So everybody waits outside till that gets done to go in and see the old artwork and stuff like that. So, but like I said, it's also just good, you know, to give back when you're blessed at what we do here as well, especially at this time with everything going on in the world.
Yeah, I would say, and I would tell others, if you get there at the right time, you can attend church, and then spill out into the bazaar that is all this unbelievable.
You would say that. I wouldn't say that.
Well, we've done it, and I mean, to go to mass and all. Anyway,
I'm just giving it a hard time.
Yeah,
I'm
as
just giving it a hard time.
an aside, but they're doing. It's really cool to have that in Arizona, and there's nothing more indigenous to Arizona than the mission. And I just want to be a small contributor to that.
Yeah, absolutely. And so for everybody catching us, you know, and now I'm sure I'm not going to say it's all new people, but it is amazing to watch because then I'm like, man, I've never even heard of this. You know, I'm an American public school educated kid here. And I'm like, I've never even heard of that country. And we got, you know, 100 listeners on that in that country. So we appreciate it very much. And of course, get the knowledge here that Lou's going to bring to us. But don't forget, Sneak Teep Podcast about business.
Oh, yeah, I glaze over it because I don't really want to make too much of this about me. Steve's gracious to
Lou,
do that. But I do want to get back. I do want to get back and say thanks to you people who are tuning in from wherever you're tuning in. Again, my email's everywhere, lou@gamblu.com. If I can ever help, if you have a question or if you disagree with me and you want to tell me to go jump in a lake, that's all good. You can reach out anytime.
Yeah, we have just really quick because you're talking about the NFL as well. But yeah, well, let me finish the Sneak Teep about business. Are you going to do a podcast this week or publish it online?
No, I'm not traveling. Okay. I mean, you could even the Sneak Teep this week. It wasn't until Monday afternoon. Yeah. I don't think because I was traveling, and when I travel, I'm really lucky to have the web page that I can at least get the releases out. Yeah. Publicized.
I ain't gonna lie to you. I enjoyed the website one because while the red was going on, obviously it's hard to go back and listen to what you have to say and stuff to that effect.
Oh, you just go
I literally just clicked on it and it was loaded up and I was like, oh, okay, that's what I remember what he said about this guy, especially on last week's fight because I didn't know a lot of those fighters, so it was kind of interesting to see. So I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just saying I enjoyed that a little bit as well.
What I may do is start once the first fight is off. Or the second fight, I may throw my picks up on the webpage.
Yeah, just publish it up there and stuff. Well, that's the thing, like just during the fight kind of a deal, you know, like you said. But no, so that's coming out. Don't forget about that. But you brought up the NFL, you know, and I saw your post the other day, and then we'll get into Saratoga here. I just want to bring this point up. You always say, right, don't be going overs for the years because of injuries and stuff like that. Now, you know, Panthers reported with the Cardinals yesterday, so first practice for the Panthers is today, Lou. Linebacker Nick Skeleton, who's their main linebacker guy for that Panthers team, lower body injury in practice, got carted off just moments ago, got carted off the field here. He was in tears when he left, which if an NFL player's emotional on an injury and getting carted off, generally, that's not good news. You can go off of that. Now, it's a linebacker, but it kind of, I'm just using that to the more prevalent point of, man, injuries are going to be coming up here, folks. So, you know, watch those overs and things like that. And obviously, you can talk a little bit more about that.
Well, I talk about it from two different sides of the street.
Yeah.
Because from 1967 to 1993, I was privy enough to be in a huddle. So I believe that even though I'm an old dude, I believe that I understand what it's like to think about when you're in a huddle and how that affects. And so this kid crying as he's getting toted off on a cart means he blew his knee, and he'll be back next year. Probably better with two stronger legs. Now, that is, it's so unfortunate. I feel for the kid and his and his family and the team and everything. But the Lou the Gambler's like next man up, number
Yeah,
one, and
yeah.
number two is this is the first of 45 of these we're going to have between now and the start of the season. It's just a fact. I don't want it to happen to the player. As a handicapper, I know it's going to happen to the players. And which players they are, I don't know. I'm not in that speculative nature to try and tell you who it's going to be, but I'll wait and tell you who it is when it happens, because it will happen. And that's why I'm not betting positives right now. I'm not looking for, I have some teams here, 3, 4, 5 of them, and it never happens, popping out at me like, yeah, we're going over this year, baby. And I don't really, I'm always looking for unders. I don't, but I'm getting a lot of over, but I'm not going to talk about them, or we're not going to breathe about them until the day before the season, because at that point in time, I know who their starting unit is, if the quarterback's healthy, what the head coach is doing, stuff like that. So I don't want to be surprised. Now, if I have to find advantage, and I think I have and I am, then it would be on the unders for a couple reasons. Number one, most people like to bet the overs. So if you took all the NFL teams' totals and you add the over-under for each, you're going to get a higher number than there are actual games. Why? Because you're paying a tax to take the over to begin with. Doesn't matter the team. Maybe not the Cardinals.
I don't know. I've seen a lot of people say go over Cardinals. I've been seeing a lot because it's 3.
Well,
I've been seeing a lot of people say
it's a low number,
it can only
and
go
somebody
up.
and some people actually study what they're doing and see that there's some things to be bullish about with the Cardinals.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I've been reading a lot about.
So
just
your
as an
positives. I mean, I'll start thinking about that the week before the season, because on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of that NFL week, there's a Wednesday game this year to start us off. I'll be in Vegas to take care of all those positives that I like this team to win the division. I like this team to win this, that, all the positives that I have. Now, right now, I'm only doing negatives because, unfortunately for me, by taking a team and having something happen by way of injury only contributes to my well-being. So there's that. Here's the other thing. For 3 months, there's been nothing to talk about it except the NFL. And so these sports books got the networks, and the networks are getting you whipped up into a frenzy as to how you got to go out and bet. Now, you haven't even had one practice yet. You haven't had the Hall of Fame game yet. Don't be in a hurry. And I can't devote too much of this dialogue on VSiN because VSiN's owned by Circa. And they see me as the wet blanket. They're trying to drum up frenzy and sell tickets and help their business. And I'm saying, hey, guys, don't be in a rush to go bet. So take it with a grain of salt. I have made 2 bets so far. They're both unders. They're both season totals. I'll share one today. The other one's still under the pocket for just a little while longer.
Is that because I'm just out of curiosity, is it just because the number could change, or is it just you're just waiting to see something?
It's just I want to wait. I just want to wait a little bit.
The only reason I'm asking is because over under generally doesn't change, right? Very much over the next.
Well,
month
the
or
juice
2.
could, and the number could. We've been tracking some that have, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I just don't know how much they would change going into it over the next month. Now, I can see closer to the regular season. You can see it change. I'm talking about. For the next month of 3 weeks of camp.
Yeah, most of them haven't changed. Okay. It's too early, really.
Yeah. That's what I meant by that question. There as well. Robert says and I agree with Robert on this. The vast audience is a credit to Lou. If he could teach an idiot like me to sound somewhat competent about UFC, anyone can benefit. He's not kidding there, Lou.
Well,
Before I met you, I was like, UFC, it's just a bunch of idiots hitting each other.
Oh, I had a guy the other day. I was meeting my a business associate at the what's the name of the
some fancy
at the Coach House,
some really good restaurant
at the Coach House. No, we trade at the Coach House, the coolest place outside of Casey Moore's in Phoenix, to be quiet. Anyway, something happened. Oh, it was the White House fights. It came up. And some dude over here just started going off. If I wanted to watch freaking bums fight, I'd go to the garage. Blah, 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 blah. He kept going. He kept going. I told my buddy Philly, I said, "Hey, let's move down here." Philly's like, "Well, why do you really think that?" I was like, "You stupid son of a bitch."
You're all right.
I mean, I was so, I just wanted to move away because I was about ready to go over there and put that guy in a rear naked choke and let him wake up about 10 minutes later.
See, I had that opinion about UFC where I was like, it's just a bunch of, idiots in there. And I had that opinion of it, but I don't just spew it out to anybody, and stuff.
He was very, and I, okay, you're welcome to your opinion. It's great. I think you have it. I think you have it.
Oh,
really
it's not
wrong.
that opinion. No, because now you've explained.
No, I'm
to me,
talking to the guy. At the bar,
there,
not
yeah.
you.
But you've explained the strategies to me. The way you talk about it has led me to do my own research on it and stuff like that. To the point, Lou, where I listen to what you say on Thursdays. I've started going a little bit on my own on a few of my bets. Like I said, I'm just $5 better, So, but I feel comfortable going, hey, I think this guy can do it. Whether I agree with you or not, and then just see what happens, and then you learn from that and go. But it is because of the way you explain it, you look at it and stuff like that.
Do your own work, and it doesn't matter how much you bet. Because your own work,
I just tell people because
if you do your own work, eventually you're going to figure out how to get good. If you keep betting, otherwise you won't be able to keep betting. You're going to lose your money, or you're going to be good.
Yeah. No, I just tell people because I know a lot of our audience. Some of our audience doesn't like gambling. I get that. Some of our audiences, they just assume that I'm out there betting thousands of dollars. No, I have fun with $5 bets.
Here's the other thing.
So.
If you never have to, and I never ask what a person's amount is. It doesn't matter, because if you keep winning, the amount's going to take care of itself. I'm just telling you. Okay, if every 100 bets you're winning 70 times, I'm telling you, you won't be betting $5 much longer.
Well, that's the thing. Sometimes, like the Conor McGregor fight, won a lot of bets on that one and everything. And I was like, ooh, maybe I can bump up to 10. And I was like, nope, go back, stay at 5. You're not doing that. You're not going up there.
If anything, I'd have you bump to 4, and then you know what you say.
Dadgummit,
I should have bet more.
Well, that's what I was thinking.
If you're saying, dadgummit, I should have bet more, you're rolling, baby. So just keep it reasonable.
Yeah, absolutely, and stuff like that. But hey, anything else? Well, anything else you want to say about NFL? I know we're getting closer to it. In the next few weeks, we'll be talking more and more about it. But,
I'd say starting next week, because we'll have a game under our belt, won't we?
Next Thursday, is it August 6th? 2 weeks.
I'm saying
we're 2 weeks away.
Early August. By then, I think that we can start. You can ask me about a team, and I'll dig in, and we'll surely start with the Cardinals.
Obviously, we'll talk them. Yeah.
So I'll prepare a handful of teams. We'll talk about which ones they are.
But I mean, there's a lot of intriguing teams out there. Like I
would ask people
the Lions,
to see who they want.
Yeah, I mean, just off the top of my head, the Lions with their 4th place team last year. Are they going to be able to rebound with new offensive and defensive coordinators again? How are the teams with new coaching staffs, like the Giants and Harbaugh? What's the viewpoint on them?
Of new coordinators.
And so there's a lot to talk about, and just kind of how to look at them from those perspectives. And those, Patrick Mahomes, even if he starts the beginning of this season, how recovered is he, or how is he going to play? How does that go into his style of play going into the year? So there's a lot. That's just off the top of my head.
Those are all really good questions. Right there.
And then you got Seattle with some of their changes, new offensive coordinator. I expect them to take a big step back offensively. Doesn't mean they're not going to be good, but I expect them to take a step back offensively because their brainstorm of that offense, I believe, is now Raiders head coach. So those are the things. I mean, that's just off the top of my head right there. So lots of things to talk about. We'll be addressing that coming up. But I mean, Lou, I saw your post the other day, and you had like 7 screens on it and everything. Saratoga's underway, and I know that's a passion of yours here as well. How's that going this year?
Last weekend, it didn't go so good. It's a passion, and I have my guy there with me, and he's so good, and he's all around him all weekend long because we played Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And I really cashed very few tickets, and I didn't alter what I do. I'm trying to hit daily doubles. I'm playing one race into another in a couple different ways, and I was just he was all around it, but he was hitting some tickets and I just wasn't. And sometimes you pay your dues, and I don't look to try and beat horse racing. First of all, you can't, and second of all, it's more a release. I'm just trying to bet, a $36 ticket that can come in and pay me a couple hundy or so. I'm trying to go along that way. And so it just wasn't working until the last two races on Sunday, when he switched to Del Mar. I bet Saratoga only. So I'll look at a couple Del Mar races. What do you say? So I did a back wheel with a 4-1, meaning I bet a 4-1 horse 20 to win, and then instead of betting him 20 to place, you bet $2 on every other horse as an exacta in front of your horse. So if your horse runs second and a 99 to 1 beats him, you get paid. You're happy that your horse got beat, and the winner hit. So bang, I cashed that ticket and rolled it then into some other ninth race play. Probably, I don't even remember what it was, but it ended up good, and I recover some of what I lost and walk away feeling good, because this afternoon I'll go back and bang my head against Saratoga, see if I can't try and find a few winners there. But I love Saratoga, and I need a break from the NFL focus,
Nice
and
distraction.
it breaks it up really good for me.
Now, let me ask you this. How in-depth do you get? Because the thing that
In the horses?
Yeah, I struggle with horse racing because I don't follow it. So, and a horse just shows up and people are like, that horse is going to win. I'm like, well, how do you know that horse is going to win? So do you get into owners? Because I know certain owners have success, certain breeders have success. Do you get into that type of stuff, or what's the strategy here? Or you just listen to the experts talk about it and make your own decisions? Like, how in depth do we go here
Over
when we're
the
looking at
course
Saratoga?
of the 20 years that Gamblu, 17 years that Gamblu's been around, my buddy from Omaha and I go to Vegas together, and he's really who's taught me how to read a form. And so I'll get the form because I know how to read it pretty good. Not like him; he reads it like a dinner menu. It's still work for me, but I take great umbrage in what I've been taught how to look at the form, and there's nuance there. But I always have Fox. If you're betting Saratoga here in Phoenix, there's Fox Day at the races on during the week. And you got Paul LaDuca, ex-baseball player, kid sharp. Yeah, a horse trainer named Tom, sharp as he can be, and a couple other people, and they're talking about each race as you go. So between what I see on the form, between what I hear from them, and then the market, you look at the odds, you see the morning odds on the horse, and you can see where they move. I can tell you that my biggest play, if I go to Turf Paradise, I can tell you the basis of my bets are going to be, I'll take the second favorite in the race. So if there's a 9 to 5 and a 3 to 1, I'll take the 3 to 1 to win, and then I'll bet him in a back wheel, meaning him in second place to all the other horses. You blow $30 to $40 a race. If your guy comes second to a big bomb, it's a great day. You have fun with it, and that's kind of my process.
Yeah, I was just curious because, like I said, I've been to Saratoga, and that was actually the only place I've ever won money when I was just beginner's luck.
You've been to Saratoga?
I've been to Saratoga.
I mean, that's a mecca for a horse racing guy,
I've been
Steve.
to, and I didn't know where I was.
You don't know
at.
how lucky you are.
I had no idea where I was. George Steinbrenner was alive. He had a horse racing in it. So I was there the day he was there. I've sat in the dress-up section, and then I've gone in the slummy section where you wear shorts or whatever, And then they have
So you've been there on a couple occasions?
No, same week, just two different times.
Right. Okay.
We went one time and I was in the slummy section, and I want to go back to that dress-up section. So you go buy a nice pair of pants and a nice button-down shirt and a hat, and you go up to that top part there.
Yeah, you get to spend $10 a race instead of $5 a race.
It was worth it, but it was an experience. But I had no idea what I was doing. I wasn't into any of this then. Yeah, I just walked up to the window and was like, I want this. And it was a box
Sure,
checker or whatever it was.
Box, yeah.
And literally, I didn't even know I won. The guy I was with goes, didn't you bet? And I go, I don't know what I got here. Yeah, and I like $3 turned into like $700 or $1,000, something like that.
Great?
Yeah, I know. And then I did another bet and won a smaller amount, and I went, all right, I'm done.
Yeah, I mean, you can't in horses.
Done.
You just can't go in with $5 and turn it into 500, but you can at the horse.
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, I'm like, oh, what I win? Like $2? Do I get $6 back? Like, who cares?
Yeah, no, here's $700.
Yeah, it was $700 or $1,000. I can't remember what it was, but I was just like, what? And I just remember George Steinbrenner. He had all the security around him, and his horse had security around it. and all of that stuff. And I was just like,
Well,
amazed.
they're in New York. There's a lot of mafiosi up there.
I know this
Got to watch your
spectacle.
horse's head.
Yeah, the spectacle of it was just an amazing thing. I'd love to go to the Kentucky Derby and stuff, but then I'd sit there like you said, I look at it and I'm just like, man. And I watch the shows you watch and stuff, and you watch. There's experts on the Saratoga website where you can stream it live, and they just talk, and I just stare at them.
You stream Saratoga through their
I
website?
actually have it on right now.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yes, sir.
I use
Text me.
TVG.
I loaded it up. I loaded it up while you were talking there to see if they'd already, because it's East Coast, so it's a little bit quicker. But that's Lou's passion this time of year, getting ready for the
What
football
time's
season to
first
start.
race today? 10?
It just went off.
9:15.
Yeah, so it just went off a few minutes ago. Unless it was a replay, I just saw horses running out there. Next one, it looks like there's.
You guys don't mind if I go back with Riley and stuff?
We can load that up.
No,
we can
no.
load that computer up for you, and you can have it on there.
No, unless
throw it
I'm
on that
sitting there
screen.
and concentrating
That's the
on
problem.
it. Even then, sitting there and concentrating on it, my chances are slim. But,
Oh, no, yeah, that was a replay. First race is 1:10 Eastern time.
yeah,
so,
10:10.
Yeah, so 10:10 today as well.
Yeah, perfect.
Coming up on that for race 1 today. I
By
just
about
looked
the
that up.
4th, 5th race, Uncle Louie will jump in.
I also love just reading the horses' names. But they list on their website. That's why I was asking you this, because I was looking at it earlier this week, just kind of paying attention. They have some
Just
experts on their page that tell you with each race
Yeah.
kind of who's first, second, third, fourth, what they think. Then they has the owners, the breeders listed. And I would imagine it's kind of like football, right? Like the Patriots are a well-run organization, so you kind of can look at them
oh
differently.
no, the trainers tell you a ton.
Yeah, I was
And
gonna say, yeah.
the pros at Saratoga, there's 2 young, pretty blonde. One is Clement, I think it's Alicia Clement, straight blonde-haired gal, pretty. You think she's just a face? Oh no, she's married to a trainer, and she is sharp and gives you great advice. The other one is a young lady named Maggie Wolfendale, and she's married to Tom, this guy that's a trainer, a horse trainer. So they're both in the industry, and her eye is she knows what they're really, really informed young ladies, and they help me. I always look for what their choices are in the horse as much as I do LaDuca and Tom, the husband, and some of these other people. But the crew is good. They give you good. If you don't even have a form and you listen to them and you bet the right way, just say maybe you bet a horse to show each race, meaning come first, second, or third. Safe way, have fun, catch a few tickets. I would tell you that Saratoga web page or the Fox show, I'm sure it's the same thing.
I'm positive they're tied together.
They don't have 2 different sets there.
Yeah.
And then there's that Jonathan Kinchin.
They don't have the production budget of the big leagues, is what we're saying.
But I'm telling you, it's very well done. It's very well done. As a gambler, I really have come to rely on it.
Well, so that's Lou's passion. This is the time of year I like, because Lou talks so passionate about horse racing, and it's almost like it's just like a fun side thing for you that you get into it and look forward
I
to
have
it.
lots of money for the next 5 weeks, and I know I'm going to probably blow it. I did last year. 2 years ago, I had a really good meet, meaning the whole time I made some money. Last year, I'm like, oh, yeah, baby. This is going to be fun, and it didn't go that way. So I'm going to go a little more cautious at the front end here this year and see if we can create some momentum going into those last 2 weeks of August when the meat starts to run dry. So that's the plan.
Yeah, so have a strategy, right? Don't blow it all in the first first week.
It's a business.
It's like
really.
when I was in college, man. I had a friend that we drive to Vegas on a Friday night, and get there midnight, 1 a.m. He'd be out of money by 4, and you're like, what are you gonna do for the rest of the weekend?
Mooch off you.
when you're off, you gamble all your money away, man. Spread that around a little bit, Tiger.
Big dummy.
Hey, we were young and stupid back then, right? So Lou, last week in terms of the fights here, I just want to hit a couple of these fights up that happened in Oklahoma.
You can take as long
Last
as you
week?
want, because this card this week don't have a lot of really good spots in it.
That's the I'm looking at it going, I don't even know what's happening
We'll
here.
get to it when we get to it.
The main card.
Now,
I'm interested in the main card just only because I recognize those names there. Let's start first with Duplessis and Usman, the main card here as well. Duplessis ended up unanimous decision for him. He was the favorite going into this. I don't know if you learned anything or feel good on him, but I was more curious about Usman with the loss here, taking this to the decision. If how you feel about him moving forward.
I think better of Usman after the fight than I do a DDP. I mean,
Yeah.
third round on, DDP was sucking gas. I mean, his output remained, and he won the fight, but he don't get a shot at Strickland right now.
Yeah.
I don't think
That was going to be my next question. Does he get that
I'm
shot?
not the matchmaker, and I don't get into that. I just don't. That performance showed me very little evolution.
Okay.
If anything, I thought more highly of Usman after that fight than I did clearly going in. But if he doesn't have legs, and even in his prime, it wasn't like he was a deft, fluid mover. He was a wrestler. He's never been evasive and been able to use his legs. But now with two bad knees, he's got less, and DDP was able to flush him a couple times and put him on roller skates, but he wouldn't go away.
Mm-hmm.
Usman showed a lot of toughness and championship medal, I thought.
And then Jared Cannonier against Christian Leroy Duncan is a middleweight bout for these two giants of human beings for a middleweight fight here. Ended up going to a unanimous decision here. The favorite, Leroy Duncan, did get the win here in this fight as well. Of course, Cannonier trains out over there at the MMA lab.
Yep.
And everything like that. Your thoughts on, I know you don't, talk bad about the MMA lab too often. I don't expect you to here.
I would.
Your thoughts on Cannonier?
If I could, I wouldn't,
Yeah.
but I can't. He's a leader out there, Cannonier. 42 years old, taking on a giant that's younger, bigger, stronger, and more more mixed martial arts prepared today than Jared is, unfortunately. But he still got in there, didn't stop him. He went to decision. We had him plus 3.5 points. One judge made it 29-28. The other two had it all three for Duncan, so we lose. I'm a big boy, but we were close, and we knew Cannonier was going to show up and give his all, and he did. I have tremendous pride in him for that. He's the leader of the big boys of that gym, and he'll continue to lead. It's just unfortunate that he had to draw a monster like that because the other kid's quite capable.
I was like, this is a middleweight fight?
Yeah, he looks light heavy by the and he was every bit of 210 in the fight.
I mean, at least a light heavyweight type of a thing. I mean, it was amazing. It was literally just a stark. That was just my reaction was, man, this should be a bigger fight out there. A couple other MMA lab guys going on there. Delgado got the win over, I believe he was Bashy on that
That's
fight,
right.
correct? Another local kid?
Yeah, Delgado opens minus 170. Everybody on Bashy, all the wise guys in Vegas, they know this, they know that, they know this and that. The only thing what they don't know is they don't know the kid was going to get his PhD in MMA because Delgado is longer, taller, has a much more UFC experience. Bashy is a world-class wrestler that's learning how to strike and learning how to evade strikes, and he was painted on the feet. Delgado, now, if you look at MMA decisions, some of the people just were taking Bashy by name. Delgado won that fight fair and square and schooled that young kid, and I'm adamant about it because that was a substantial position for us.
Yeah, I mean, I was even impressed from what I was reading about the fight coming up to it. I mean, and I don't know if I should be impressed. I just am based off of what was said about it. But Delgado had a great showing up there. And usually lab guys do. That's the thing I've been learning here is even if they lose a fight, they at least have a good showing. There's no, I'm going to say, dogs that show up and then they just get eliminated in the first 12 seconds. They're very well coached going into these fights and prepared.
Yeah.
And it's something to watch and something that I've definitely noticed, including with Tommy McMillan getting the win over Alberto Montes, another lab guy. Now, McMillan was the favorite going into this. Well, he's from Phoenix, I should say.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. I corrected myself there.
He trains
Local
with
kid.
Tim Welsh, and Welsh and the lab are the friendly entities. Welsh is O'Malley, and McMillan's in that camp out in the desert. MMA Lab's a different camp, but like I say, very germane with one another.
Yes, absolutely. And so let me correct that out there and stuff. But Tommy McMillan there, KO in the third round, late in that round. I think there was a minute or so to go in it, stuff like that. But your impressions of him after this fight.
Yeah, mouthy, loud, obviously the same camp as O'Malley, but hey, that's what Paramount and the UFC want, and from what I'm hearing, we'll see more of them.
I mean, the UFC has to be happy with his performance.
Yes, they want
ring.
they want people that attract eyeballs and provide violence, and if you can do both of those, you got a quick ascent in the UFC.
Yeah, and then there was one other fight I just had a quick question on. I can't remember what it was now. It's top of my head, so I'm trying to stall here as well. But Nickel.
Nickel showed up well. He was a huge underdog against Correa.
Oh, Correa, that's what it was.
Went to decision.
Yeah.
But Nickel knew he knew what his number was, and he went out to prove he was better than they thought.
Yeah,
he was better than they thought.
I want to say Correa was a 1,300. I think it closed around 12 or 1,300 there right before the fight. You got it to the decision. Super impressed by that kid sticking in there and doing it, and stuff like that. Does this look bad on Correa, or does this look good on Nickel? Is my question. Moving forward,
they're $1.25ers. Who gives a hoot?
That's the thing. They're flyweights.
Yeah, I mean Nickel shows well because he didn't get ousted right away.
This is my point. Flyweight fights to me are just kind of, guys just moving around, striking each other, kind of.
Well,
a deal.
until you get to the top five, then you got some vicious. You got Kopp, you got Horiguchi, you got Pantoja coming off and you got the champion Van. So those four there, those are worth watching. After that, it's.
Yeah, and then Nickel goes in there and is a huge underdog, and you're still watching him in the third round.
Yeah.
Going, wow, this kid's hanging in there. I didn't expect him to win once it went to that point. But that's what kind of impressed me, being that flyweight there as well for him. Going forward.
I apologize.
So, no worries at all. Just trying. What's that sound there? That's a.
It's an old car horn. Auga.
Auga. When we come back, we'll get into this weekend's fights here. Of course, over in Abu Dhabi and everything. We'll take a look at this coming up. And the main event. I know the names. We'll see what else we can figure out here about this fight. So come on back, folks, with Uncle Lou here on Thursday. And we're back here Thursdays with Uncle Lou. We talked Saratoga, had some fun with that. Getting ready for the NFL season, had some fun with that. By the way, an update just on the Panthers linebacker that did go down. Their head coach came out and said right knee injury, further testing to see the severity of it as well. Of course, that's Dave Canales there for the Panthers. So they're trying to determine the severity, but like I said, a player gets carted off and he's in tears. They know their bodies. They know he knows something's severely wrong with that. So we'll have to wait and see. But point being, in terms of this discussion,
it's a shame.
Absolutely, it's the worst thing I hate about football. Get injured in game one. In the regular season, these preseason injuries.
The sport is cruel, apart. And the other thing is why did we take out all the grass fields in all these NFL stadiums?
Issue number 2, because it's
you'll see that if anything, I'm way more pro player than I am anything, and I explained why.
So this weekend, Lou, we go to Abu Dhabi here coming up. Yas West United Arab Emirates. Yas Island / Yas West is what the the city
Fight Island
is caused out there as well. 9 a.m. for the main card. So breakfast, Cheerios, and blood.
Yeah. No, we're going to wake up, watch fights, and then we're going to go to Los Dos for Mexican.
Oh, even better.
And then there's more than likely I'd take the over-under at probably 72 minutes for nap after that.
Yeah, for the nap time.
Yes.
On that. It was funny, though. You just reminded me of that when I said Cheerios and blood. During that McGregor fight, I was at this get-together for it. And the number one question I kept hearing repeated was, do they change the mats after every fight? Because, the blood's just gut.
No.
No, they just throw a powder down. And
they don't even do that.
It solidifies up and everything.
They just rub it into the canvas.
Exactly.
And that canvas, you can slip on sweat. I mean, if you're dry, no problem. But if it gets wet, that's why at the White House, if it had rained and gone, had there been water in the cage, that could have been a real issue.
Yeah, and then the fight, and then those logos are slippery on top of it. The big beer bottle or whatever they got in the middle. It's interesting because I always talk about the guy slipping. I'm like, yeah, he's slipping all over the place in there. It's kind of interesting to see. But I'm assuming big cage over here in Abu Dhabi this weekend.
Big cage, big crowd of fans. What's the other thing that we don't see?
No women.
That's right, baby. They don't jack around in Abu Dhabi. There ain't no women's fights there. They've tried it before, and it just
Well, it's a
doesn't
culture.
work.
To be clear, it's a culture thing over there.
I'm not saying it's right or wrong.
No. No. I'm
it's
just telling
blatant
everybody.
that you don't see it. I think I don't know why you wouldn't, but if you did, you have to be a little bit more deft a matchmaker and give you and keep it to 135-pound ladies that are going to give you some action. But they don't jack with it there. It's a primarily Muslim area. You want to know who the fighters are that come from that generic area. Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, any of those stands and Muslim fighters will often be fighting someone that has to travel in. In this case of the 13 fights, 7 of them are basically home. And so, and of these 13 fights, 7 of them are lined at minus 300 for the favorite or greater. So there's only 8 fights really competitively lined to try, at least as far as I'm concerned, to make an opinion on. All the numbers guys this week, like a guy named, that's last week's cards. You got me looking at Korea.
Sorry about that.
This week, all these guys like this Tajikistan fighter at 155 pounds early in the card, Aliyev. He's
against Mike Davis.
Yeah, takedown chain wrestler. He's going to be fighting in front of his home crowd. He's got a 2.5 minus 140 to the over. Let's see if that's still that same line.
Of course, my app's doing an update.
Minus 2.5 is minus 200 now. So I can tell you that Aliyev's getting the love and he's getting the money. But my money's on Mike Davis for a couple reasons. Davis looked poor in a recent outing against a tall guy from France, Fares Zayem. And it just must have been a bad matchup for him. But he is a brilliant striker. He's tough as nails, and he's got way underestimated wrestling. Provided he can keep this Aliyev from submitting him and dominating him in the first round, if he can navigate this fight to the second round, I think he's just going to play field target from striking on this Aliyev. And I like Mike Davis a good deal here.
Plus 190. Plus 190 right now. Now, he's, U.S. fighter, Mike Davis is. So I'm assuming you're getting out there a few days earlier than you normally would for a fight to get used to it with longer flight, things to that effect. Are you getting? You're not getting there a week or two earlier, but you could be getting there, 5-6 days early now or something. That maybe a week. I don't know. What I'm getting
never
at
assume.
What I'm getting
That's
at.
what I would say. Never.
Okay,
assume.
never assume. All right,
no, never assume.
I know some people go, "I'll just land and fight,"
Well, I would say that if you have the money and you can stay out,
that's the problem.
But most of them, rarely, unless it's short notice, will they come a day or two ahead of time.
Yeah,
they'll come 3 or 4 days ahead of time. There's no real acclimation other than the time and what the travel does to your body as far as bloating. It's not like they're going to Mexico City and having to fly from around the country.
Yeah, but you can adjust the time here while you're training.
But you're still flying, and there's still, if you're fighting against somebody that's from the area like Mike Davis is. So I don't know when he got there. My biggest thing will be, I think,
weigh-ins?
Today's Thursday. So Friday morning at 9 is like tonight tonight sometime weigh-ins will be in, and I'll pay a lot of attention to that. I will trust that Mike Davis is going to show up on scale and on point, and if we get, I believe we'll get his best effort, and if we get that, I think I can win.
All right, so there you go, that lightweight bout. The fight card starts off with Cody Gibson against a shadow of a guy. So I don't know if that's a fill-in, but that's the guy that's a shadow is a big favorite in that fight to start off the card, as well in the Magomed Tuchilov and Brenton Ribeiro here. Russia-Brazil fight, that's light heavyweight.
Minus 670. Next fight.
Yeah, I know. The reason why I'm bringing it up is light heavyweight. And then you go to a lightweight bout here with Ishmael Bonfim. We've seen him fight before against Alex Sola here. Sola is a minus 200 favorite coming up here.
Yeah, and at least we got something to talk about with this fight. Bonfim's the least talented of the two Bonfim brothers, and he's been finished a couple times. Sola is a guy that fought against a guy named Mason Jones and lost, but there's no shame to that. I think that if Bonfim has a shot, it's early, and if Sola can navigate this into the latter rounds, I think he stands a great chance. And Bonfim comes in from Brazil, Sola from France, so they're both fighting the same travel and such. Yeah, I lean to Sola somehow. Maybe using him in a parlay, maybe using him via the points, depending what those come out as.
3.5 for Sola. It's minus 3.5, minus 130 right now on DraftKings.
Yeah, it's still a minus number.
Yeah. They're both minus numbers.
Maybe we look at that again. He's possibly a parlay piece.
Over under on this fight's 2.5, minus 140 to the under for this fight as well. So they're saying somebody's going to finish somebody in this fight.
That's what the number
That's
indicates.
what they say out there.
That's not what they say. It's what the number indicates.
Exactly. Somebody's saying that for that fight there. Santiago Ponzinibbio, Sam Patterson, England, Argentina fighter, minus 500 to Sam Patterson in this welterweight bout coming up. Lou, if there's anything to be said about these, just chime on in. Dustin Jacoby, Mohamed Saidov. Now, light heavyweight bout here. That's why I'm bringing up some of these. A lot of big boys fighting in this undercard.
8 of 13 fights.
Yeah,
so they
a lot.
planted big boys for the Muslim world because they're trying to export their brand there. They also have contractual obligations to fight there regularly, and so they're giving their fans what they need and what they want.
The possible knockout power, some excitement happening in the ring
well,
there.
Once we start seeing some of these 1.5s, Tukalov's a 1.5.
Well, Dustin Jacoby's a 1.5.
A 1.5.
Yeah, right now. Jacoby is a minus 165 favorite going over under 1.5, minus 180 to the over right now.
Yeah, Saeed Muhammad coming in on short notice, really. Hardly, he's a Russian, and that's, I guess, so he's going to have some wrestling. Don't know a lot about him, but he is 30, and Jacoby's had a full camp here. You got to, I don't know anything about Saeed Muhammad. There's no way for me to really I figure how this fight could go outside of watch it and learn from it because I don't know the other kid.
And then Walter Walker, a Brazilian fighter, against Thomas Peterson, a United States fighter here. Walker right now is a 185 favorite, over under 1.5, minus 166 on DraftKings right now to the over. Another heavyweight bout, by the way.
Heavyweight bout. Well, Walter Walker has won every fight in the UFC by heel hook. And he has no intention of trying to win any other way because, quite honestly, I don't think he can. So in this fight, he's going to go right out and attack Peterson, try and ground him, and find a way to get to his leg, period, over and out. Most of the people betting believe that that's exactly what he's going to do. I'm not so sure. Peterson's big. He weighed 264 for his last fight. Walker, 251. So he's big. He's got a gut like Uncle Louie. He's low based. He can bang and he can wrestle. And so this might be a live dog situation. Tom Peterson here. We'll just have to see. I think one way or another. I think one way or another, one guy could get the other guy out of there.
Let me ask you this as we wrap up the prelims. On these fights where these guys are traveling a little bit far, like Brazil, United States, you always pay attention to the weigh-ins. Do you pay extra attention to them to see how they have adjusted to the travel over there, the food that they're dealing with, just the whole changes? Because you're not just changing, going from one country to another. You're going culture changes here as well. So everything's going to be a little bit off.
Every weigh-in.
Okay.
And you don't look at it with heavyweights because it don't matter.
Those guys don't care.
Well, I mean, whether he weighs 252
I know what you
or
mean.
257.
Yeah.
I mean, I would notice that if he came in at
260. Because they come in, they don't have to cut a ton. Yeah. Yeah, that is true on the heavy guys. I didn't even think about that. But, a lot of welterweights in those in this fight as well, including in the main card here. Vaidiev, a Russian fighter, against Saigig, is a Magomedov from Russia.
Yeah, that's I think this is the
Oh, it could be. They have it listed as the first main card. They do switch it around on us sometimes.
Well, again, two Russians I don't know anything about really. Vajiev lost to Dalby, the Viking. Dalby's 40, so that's a eyebrow raiser. Iza Gakmaev trains with Chimaev. That's interesting. I don't have much data on either of these guys.
well,
Pass.
like on DraftKings, they don't have the points on this card.
Right,
locked
because
in
they
there
don't
now.
know anything.
That's what I
There's
was
no
gonna ask
data
you.
on these
Okay.
guys.
That's what I was going to ask you. But then he's a 250 favorite. Vagievov is a 250 favorite there. Rizvan Kuniev and Tyrell Fortune here battling it out in a heavyweight fight. Kuniev's a 305 favorite here on the main card. I'm sorry, 340 favorite right now on the main card is Kuniev here in this heavyweight fight.
Yeah, Kuniev's 2 inches taller, 2 years younger, has a little reach advantage. Ty Fortune, though, shouldn't be underestimated. He's got great power, explosion, good wrestling. What I'm afraid of is that this fight's going to be a real slow pace, 2 grizzly bears just pushing on each other the whole time. And so for that reason, 2.5 over minus 140 looks pretty good to me.
Minus 154 right now.
Yeah.
But that was going to be my question on this fight was the over 2.5 minus 154 tells me either somebody's running out of gas quickly or both of them are, and then they're just kind of just in there at
High
that
school slow dance at the prom, baby. That's what you'll watch there. I don't often say that with heavyweights. They want them in there to knock each other
Yeah.
out. And if some, I give Fortune a chance in this fight. He could be a live dog.
The next up, then we go down to a lightweight bout here. And these, I apologize, Russian
Rizbeki,
fighters.
the butcher,
Yeah,
is fighting
is that what we're calling him?
Will Chelko, who everybody's calling him Billy Pork, and he hates that. He trains. This guy also trains with Chimaev, and what is it? Will Chalko is what he wants his name to be, and everybody's calling him Billy Pork, and he hates that, and it's driving him nuts. Anyway, that's an aside. So you can see that Billy Pork is favored minus 360. He opened minus 275. John Pork, they're calling him. Anyway, it should be an interesting fight, but I look for the Pork guy to put the Rizbeki on a stick. Rizbeki, the butcher, is a Polish fighter, and I haven't seen him fight.
What's the weight class on that?
155.
155 for those
Lightweights.
guys. Isn't that funny though? You go from heavyweight to the lightweight. That's just going to be a contrast on your eyes there.
It is, but
Yeah.
I think in many ways you'll get more action and finishing ability out of the lightweight fight than you will out of the heavyweight
Than that
fight.
heavyweight
I
one.
know that's not the design, but I believe that will be the result.
Yeah, and then you got then you go to a welterweight here. Dulatov versus Turman. Minus 900 favorite for Dulatov here in this welterweight fight. Brazil and Turkey, as they like to be known now in the international circles. What's a Turkey fighter? What's their style, out of curiosity?
Who's the turkey fighter?
Dulatov?
Is he?
They have him listed as a
Chechnya.
Turkey. Okay.
That's Russia.
They have him listed as a Turkey fighter here in the UFC page.
Listen,
Okay.
Turman was out of the UFC. He can't stop a sneeze, and he's chinny. And so they bring him back specially for this guy, so this guy can run him over. This will be like having a penny on the train tracks, and the train come and run over it when it's done. It's all flat.
By the way, he's minus 1,000 now.
Just a ridiculous
Just to
fight.
tell you there, right? Over under 1.5 minus 298 to the under.
What's it good to go out and give a guy, you get a 3-punch him and knock him out? What does it do for Dulatov? Nothing. Except
Nothing,
he
other
fires
than-
the crowd up for
Yeah.
the next 2 fights.
He works harder in practice while sparring than he will in this fight if it goes the way
Potentially.
they expect it to go.
Potentially.
Steve Erceg, who we've seen multiple times fighting from Australia or down in that area he's from. Temirov here from Uzbekistan in this fight. Erceg, basically a pick'em right now in this fight. I've seen Steve Erceg fight before. Didn't leave a lasting impression with me. But this is a pick'em fight, so even battle here in a flyweight.
Erceg has experience. He's 4 inches taller. He's got a 5-inch reach advantage. And Temirov open minus 150. Now it's a pick. Money's come in on Erceg. I think I have to agree with the way that money has flowed. The issue with this fight is it's lined at 2.5.
Yep.
And that 2.5 leans over.
Yep.
So
Minus 180 to the over right now, Jeff.
Potential decision. And if that's the case, how's Usyk going to get a fair shot against a Muslim in a Muslim country? So that one has me in a conundrum, and I don't know what I'll do with it.
That is true if it gets to that.
You have to think
side,
in terms of that. We got to know what the UFC wants and what they're doing here, and so I don't know how many times I really want to step in front of what they want to do. And what they want to do is get a lot of these Muslim fighters to have great outings and get their brand moving further in this region. And that's why I think the one non-Muslim we're taking here this week outside in those kinds of fights is Mike Davis.
Absolutely. And then, by the way, that's the co-main event there. That's going to go off around scheduled for 11:45 a.m. on Saturday, just to give you a time frame when the main card starts
Pacific,
at 9.
Steve?
That's our time, yeah.
Very good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, exactly.
So about
thank you for correcting
12:15
that.
or so PST will be the main event. That's perfect.
Yep. And then
I'll be eating tacos by
right?
1:45.
I know these 9 a.m. fights are so much
Love
fun.
it.
Like then you get lunch, you eat breakfast watching it, and you get lunch right afterwards. Then we get the main fight here. Again, Ankalaev. I knew I was going to screw that up.
Ankalaev.
Thank you. And Gustav here battling it out. We got a minus 550 light heavyweight favorite in Ankalaev here in this fight. Over under 2.5. Minus 145 to the under. And I apologize. He's a 535 favorite on DraftKings right now as well for this main event card for these two big boys. Russia, Uzbekistan fighters here going into this.
Yeah, Ankalaev's a former champion. He laid an egg against Pereira his last out, and I expect him to come out breathing fire in this one. And Gustav is a short notice replacement 8 days ago, I think, or so. Yeah. Takes the place of Khalil Roundtree. So the Roundtree Ankalaev was going to be interesting. Well, we're not going to get that. So Gustav says, yeah, he'll come in on short notice and fight anybody. On his good day, Gustav is a pretty good striker. He will counter you up, let you go first, and bang you back. He tends to lack defense. He'll take one to give one. And he can also, by about the middle of the second round, start to really slow. None of those are good recipes against Ankalaev here. I look for Gustav to put up a competitive first round. I look for this fight to hit the second round, as I've wrote in the webpage.
On your blog.
But I don't think it's going to go much further than that. Ankalaev is really focused on creating momentum to try and get back to Pereira, and the best thing he can do is decimate Gustav. And I think after the first round, that's exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah, so it's a conditioning thing. Because, I mean, in your blog, you did put Gustav is a brown belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. For a big guy, that seems terrifying in my eyes, right?
Yeah, except that Ankalaev is a master of sport in Sambo.
Okay.
And Sambo's a sophisticated wrestling, and I've always been taught that world-class wrestling is kryptonite to BJJ. So that makes you even like Ankalaev more.
Okay, perfect. And that thing, I remember Ankalaev's last fight. I couldn't remember who it was, but it was not good. So I was taking that kind of bias into this on seeing, and then you see the odds and everything to that effect.
I don't think
for this main one. So.
I think he was hurt. I think there was something going on there, and
if I remember right, there was a lot of talk about that.
I think they just didn't say anything. They just took their loss, and now he's back. And I look for him to bounce.
Yeah, and then like you said, especially. Do you worry about short, not necessarily in this fight, because we know that, minus whatever 535 or whatever it was to Ankalaev, but if a short fighter goes in there,
a short
notice fighter, would you be more concerned about him as a heavyweight or a light heavyweight being in shape more so than a light heavyweight, or they're just professionals and they're always ready to go?
No, I look at the opposing fighter to know, do I know this guy, and is he in the gym all the time? Okay. Because we know that. Yeah. And Gustav's in the gym all the time. He wasn't preparing for a fight.
That's what I'm saying.
But he's not that far away.
But that's what let me rephrase that. They're in the gym all the time. But like they might not be doing cardio all the time. They might be lifting and sparring and doing that stuff.
The pros,
stuff.
The pros know they could get the call at any time, and if they know they're going to accept it, they want to be ready.
Yeah, because I could see a heavyweight guy sparring, working out, putting the weights on, so they're in shape. But but they're not going to be able to go a 3 or 4 round fight because they haven't been running.
Well,
and
they
doing
will.
that stuff,
Who knows they won't. We see it all the time where guys come in and maybe not 5, but we saw Dan Ige fight Diego Lopez 3-4 years ago on 3-4 hours. No, they shipped him from Vegas, passed him, got him in there, and he made 5 rounds. So it's all all on the fighter. But I will say this: just because it's a short notice fight for the guy taking the fight on short notice, it's a short notice fight for the guy who was preparing for another guy for 6 weeks, and now
especially when the style changes.
If the style, so there's reaction on both. It really affects both fighters.
Is Roundtree a different fighter than Gustav is?
Yeah, he's a more capable, competent fighter with better defense and feet.
But
it would have been a bigger test.
Okay, so that's what I'm wondering, because I could understand if you're get a short fighter and you're training for a wrestler, and all of a sudden you get a great striker in there, and you're like, I've been training to go up against a striker. So that for the short notice guy on the other side.
Those comments are dead on, baby. Right. I'm proud as I can be. You're dead right. If I've been training against a wrestler for 6 weeks and throw a long, tall, skinny striker at me, that ain't good.
You're not prepared for it. There's no way you could get prepared for it. So I don't know. It's a thing that just hit me.
Ankalaev would have been minus 200, 230 against Roundtree, so he wouldn't have been double. So that's how you measure.
That tells you right there exactly. So and that just meant that as more general stuff going forward for those fill-in fights and everything. So early morning fight card on Saturday. Weigh-ins are tonight sometime.
I believe I just substantiated that with my friend John Morgan, and so I'll find out. So who's covering it normally?
That's
now,
what I was going to ask you.
There's no TV on it. I can't stream it even. So I have to watch the web, like the MMA Junkie, and they announce it as they go. Who made? So I still track what time they weigh in, and then I'll see the pictures later.
And then About Business podcast tomorrow morning as usual.
It would be tomorrow morning. That's correct. Tomorrow's Friday.
Tomorrow's Friday.
Yeah. So we have I have
as far as I know,
early morning activity, but I would say by about 10, 11 Pacific.
And I always try to retweet that out on the main event page as well. So if you're missing, if you don't follow Gambler or you miss his, I always try to retweet it out for you guys so you can see that as well. So, hey, folks, UFC fighting this weekend. NFL's here. Got a first injury this morning as well, and all that fun stuff. Here we wrap up the show.
That's only one.
Right. We're of course tomorrow, last Friday off here for the summer. Next week we start our 5 days again here coming up. So we'll have tomorrow off. We'll be back on Monday morning. For Lou, as always, thank you. And the last time, Kobe. Appreciate everything you've done, buddy.
Kobe.
And good luck to you. And we'll stay in touch, of course. And everybody else, we'll see you Monday morning, 8 a.m., here on the main event.